Welcome back to our REIQA Real Estate Education Program. Be sure you started with the welcome video and have already completed sections 1 through 4. In section 5, we will cover all about deal numbers and discuss all about running your numbers to get accurate comps, ARV, and MAO to be able to make good offers. Whenever evaluating deals, it's either a deal or it's not. It's easy to find properties for sale and motivated sellers. But what makes it a deal or not a deal? It's all about the numbers. And your local market will dictate what your numbers should be. I rarely ever pay more than 70% of the after repair value, or ARV, minus repairs for any property. But in my market, I can find enough deals at those numbers. Your market may be different, and different buyers have different price points and criteria. Never get emotionally attached to properties. It's either a deal or not. A home is a stack of wood, metal, and other synthetic and raw materials. It's not a puppy. The numbers are the numbers. Don't get emotionally attached to properties and try to talk yourself into bad deals, or you will go broke. Remember, evaluating single-family versus multifamily is two totally different things. For now, we're only talking about single-family or under 5 units. Let's start by explaining a few important terms you will need to know when evaluating properties. The main three are ARV, comps, and MAO. ARV is the after repair value, or what's the price the property should sell for in perfect condition. Comps are comparable sales in your area during a recent time period. Comps should always be within the same neighborhood and no older than 3 to 6 months. If you cross over into another neighborhood or any major boundary, such as a highway, railroad, creek, etc., or the sales are older than 6 months, they will not be as accurate. To be most accurate with your ARV, take the 5 closest comps to the same size and in the same neighborhood, eliminate the highest and lowest one, and then figure your property's ARV based on average cost per square foot. Comps are considered one of the best ways to determine a home's actual value and used by agents and brokers to create a comparative market analysis. Finally, we have MAO, or maximum allowable offer. This is the most you can offer an owner and make your numbers work. You always want to start off a little lower because most people will want to negotiate. In order to run the most accurate numbers, you need as much information as possible. But as long as you have 4 pieces of information, you can run basic numbers and know if there's a potential deal or not. 1. You need the property address, or at least neighborhood where it's located. 2. You need to know the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and the square footage of the house, or at least within 100 square feet. 3. You need to know if the house needs any repairs and be able to estimate the cost. At first, it's always best to get a contractor to bid the repairs for you. The longer you do it, you'll get where you can estimate on your own to get the deal. And then just have a contractor confirm your numbers during your due diligence and inspections periods. Finally, 4. You should know why they need to sell. This lets you know if they're motivated and if there's possibility for creative finance offers. Sure, you always want to get more information and as much as possible to help you have the most accurate numbers, but some people do not want to give you much information at first and with at least those few things you know if they're motivated. You can pull comps and run your basic numbers to make an initial decision on if there's a potential deal or not. Then you'll know whether it's worth the time to pursue further and can make a generalized offer pending inspection. Let's go more into how to locate accurate comps and figure accurate ARV and MAO. So, where do you find the comps? You can access comps on many free sites, including Zillow, Total View, etc. But don't depend on the Zestimate or their estimate values. In most markets, they're not accurate. But you can search for recent comps in the same neighborhood that are same size, beds, baths, and similar square footage that sold within last 90 days. If there's not enough, check up to 6 months. Comps are comps and are 100% accurate if comped correctly. No online software figures ARV accurately in any market. But using reported sales to get comps gives you a pretty accurate number. To locate accurate comps, Take the average sales price of at least 3 to 5 of the most recent sales of similar properties in same neighborhood that are close to the same age of the property, similar structure, upgrades, etc., and that are same size with same numbers of beds and baths and similar lot size. Do not cross main streets, highways, or other dividers such as railroads or waterways. Even in the same neighborhood, you can have a drastic difference in pricing, especially if the neighborhood was built in phases of many years. Preferably, you want only sales that closed within the past 90 days. If there's not enough available, try up to 6 months. Note, there are 12 states that do not disclose the actual value of property sales to the public. In these non-disclosure states, the only way to get accurate sold comps will be reaching out and asking a real estate agent with access to MLS or using a software that taps into MLS listings. Now, let's go over how to figure accurate ARV or after repair value. Do not use the highest comp or the lowest comp. Take the average of the others, preferably at least 3 to 5. Use cost per square foot if needed due to variance in size, and multiply by the square footage of the property you're evaluating to give you the ARV. This is an estimated value if the property was in best condition. To figure your MAO, or maximum allowable offer, you take your ARV times the acquisition's percentage that fits your criteria, typically 60 to 80% depending on your market and what you or your investors will pay, and then subtract the estimated repair costs. If in a very competitive market, as investors we may be paying around 80% or more, or if in a less competitive market, we may only pay 65%. In my market, because I have direct access to lots of inbound deals, I rarely ever pay over 70%, unless it's a very premium location I love buying, so you'd have to get deals at 65% or less to wholesale to me, and leave enough room for your fee. You will need to figure repair costs to accurately figure your offer. The best way to get accurate repair numbers is have a contractor walk the property with you and bid the needed repairs. The more deals you do, the better you'll get at estimating yourself also. They'll do this for you knowing that if you do the rehab, you'll hire them, or if you wholesale the property, you'll share their bid and contact info with the end buyer. Don't abuse their time. Generating them actual jobs will build a long-term business relationship that will benefit both of you. Let's take a look at the formula to run your numbers. MAO equals the ARV times your acquisition's percentage and subtract the estimated repair costs. Remember, if buying to rehab and flip, you need to figure in holding cost based on additional expenses during the months it takes to rehab, including interest payments if using hard money, utilities, insurance, etc. If buying as a rental, you still want to buy for best price, but maximizing cash flow is more important. Finally, I also always figure closing cost into my numbers because it's part of the acquisition's cost. All this gets you to the point of knowing if it's a deal or not and what to offer. But I highly recommend running all of your deals through the Deal Check app. There's a link to a free basic version on the REIQA website. You can figure accurate numbers for wholesale, rentals, flips, BRRRRs, and multifamily using Deal Check. I use it on every deal. Next, let's look at what is the 1% rule. The 1% rule in real estate is a simple formula used to determine if the monthly rental income earned from the property is more than or at least equal to 1% of the purchase price. Is the monthly rental income greater than or equal to 1% of the purchase price? You can get the same result by reversing the 1% rule. 100 times monthly rent equals the maximum purchase price, all in, after all needed repairs. If a property rents for $1,500 per month, with a quick calculation, you know that the maximum purchase price, all in, should be around $150,000. Keep in mind that the rental market dictates rental values, and in many markets it's difficult to hit the 1% metric. It's just a number for calculating on the fly to know if it's worth running all the numbers. In some markets, you'll be lucky to even find 0.75% deals. You still need to run all the numbers. This is just a quick way a lot of us old-timers evaluate rentals on the fly. Sometimes you'll need to evaluate an occupied rental or a property you're considering keeping as a rental. You need to understand how to calculate accurate cash flow potential. Most people do not figure their cash flow numbers correctly and then struggle to ever make any profits and cash flow or to be able to wholesale the property. To calculate rental cash flow, take the monthly rent amount. Subtract PITI, which is the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Subtract any HOA fees. Subtract any utilities paid by the owner if rented bills paid. Subtract 5% for repairs and maintenance. Subtract 5% for capital expenditures for major repair needs like roofs or HVAC that will happen over time. Subtract 5% for vacancies. You will have tenant turnover over time and there's missed months. And finally, subtract 10% for property management. Even if you plan to self-manage, you need to pay yourself for that job. Cash flow is what you make investing, not unclogging toilets. So, when evaluating a potential rental, you need to know the market rents in the neighborhood. Then run normal cost analysis based on purchase price, closing cost, repairs cost, holding costs while repairing, and all in project cost. Then if you can refinance that amount, what would the PITI be, and use calculations above to see if it would cash flow at least $300 or more monthly after all expenses. Your monthly target may be higher, but shouldn't be lower unless in an appreciation-only play. I personally prefer high cash flowing deals and do not care as much on the appreciation. Most deals wholesalers send me will never cash flow more than $100 per month, but they'll try to tell you it cash flows $500 per month. They do not figure in all the real expenses because they don't happen monthly. But you still have to calculate for those expenses because repairs happen, vacancies happen, major expenditures like hot water tanks, roofs, etc. happen. We'll go much more in depth on rental calculations later when covering multifamily. Again, I highly recommend running all of your deals through the Deal Check app. There's a link to a free basic version on the REIQA website. You can figure accurate numbers for wholesale, rentals, flips, BRRRRs, and multifamily using Deal Check. I use it on every deal. That concludes this section. In the next section, we will go over what to do when you actually find a deal and discuss how to find owner's contact info, more about contracting, and the closing process. Please subscribe to our channel, like the video, and ask any follow-up questions in the group. Our experienced investors will respond throughout their days to help you.